It is the 9th century. An old laboratory in the mountains of China. Clay jars and strange tools stand around. It is a time of silence and ancient secrets. Alchemists in long robes lean over the table. There is a strong smell of sulfur in the air. The scientists dream about eternal life for the emperor. One master takes a piece of yellow sulfur. Another pours white saltpeter into a deep bowl. The third adds simple coal from the furnace. They grind the stones into fine black powder. The masters mix the powders for a long time with wooden spoons. Suddenly, something terrible happens. A random spark from the furnace falls into the bowl. A loud explosion sounds. The table disappears in bright fire and smoke. The scientists are thrown to the wall, covering their burned faces. They shake with fear of their discovery. In their scrolls, they make an important note. This substance is a fire medicine, they write. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am glad to see you on my channel. For those who are here for the first time, a few words about the project. Here, we learn English together. I prepared this story specially for level A2. It will help you understand spoken English better. You will learn to read faster, understand, and speak correctly. Listen carefully and follow the story. I wish you a pleasant and useful watching. Let's start. Military generals quickly learned about the loud miracle. They did not need immortality. They needed victory at any cost. They began to take pots with gunpowder for themselves. At first, gunpowder only scared enemies on the field. It was packed into dry bamboo tubes. Warriors threw these tubes into the fire. A cracking sound appeared like thunder. Enemy horses went crazy with fear. They threw off riders and ran away. Soldiers whispered that demons fought for the generals. Psychology became the main weapon in early battles. Gunpowder was like magic that you cannot touch. Then came the time of fire arrows. A small bag with black powder was tied to the arrow. A soldier lit the fuse and shot the arrow. In the night sky, long bright trails appeared. They fell on the enemy's straw roofs. Cities burned in just minutes. The Chinese began to build fire lances. These were tubes that shot stones. Bamboo often exploded in their hands. But this did not stop anyone. Mongol Khans captured China and found gunpowder. They carried it in leather bags to the west. This is how the recipe reached Arab scholars. Arabs loved exact science. They did not like dirt in their mixtures. A scientist named Hassan al-Ramah decided to clean the formula. He washed saltpeter for many hours in large containers. He removed all the sand from it. After drying, the saltpeter shined like a diamond. His gunpowder became 2 times stronger than the Chinese one. Arabs began to make the first cannons from bronze. These were short tubes, like vases. They shot heavy stones at fortress gates. The sound of Arab cannons reached the shores of Europe. European monks began to whisper about devil's powder. Roger Bacon was the first to write The Secret of Gunpowder in England. He hid the formula in a secret code. Bacon was afraid that gunpowder would destroy civilization. In those years, gunpowder looked like flour or soot. This powder had one big problem. During travel, it separated into parts. Heavy sulfur went to the bottom of the barrel. Light coal moved to the top. A soldier had to mix the powder before every battle. It was slow, uncomfortable, and very dangerous. One spark from a tool could kill the gunner. Also, the powder quickly absorbed water. On a foggy day, it became useless. But in the 15th century, masters found a solution. They decided to make dough from the powder. They added water or strong wine. Then they pushed the mass through kitchen sieves. They got small hard grains of black color. This was a real revolution in war. Granulated powder did not fear shaking in carts. There was always air between the grains. Fire moved through the charge very fast. The explosion became sharp and strong. Now cannonballs flew much farther and more accurately. Heavy knight armor became just metal. A musket bullet went through steel like paper. Castles with high walls became easy targets. The strongest blow came from Sultan Mehmed II. This happened near the walls of Constantinople. The city stood for 1,000 years and did not fall. The Sultan brought a master named Urban. He promised to make a very powerful cannon. But how to move such a monster on mud? Mehmed made a bold decision. He ordered to build a workshop in the field. Right near the enemy, they dug large pits. Masters melted bronze in huge furnaces. Smoke covered the sky above the city. Cannons were made inside the military camp. The biggest cannon was called Basilica. Its cannonballs weighed 500 kilograms. The first shot broke windows in the whole city. The walls started to fall apart. After 2 months, the great capital of Byzantium fell. Gunpowder ended the age of old kings. Now saltpeter was searched across Europe. It became more valuable than gold and spices. Special people walked in barns and old basements. They dug soil with animal waste. From this dirty material, they made pure power. Farmers hated these people, but kings paid them a lot of money. Without gunpowder, you were an easy target. Bell makers began to make cannons. Barrels often exploded because of bad metal. Gunners became the bravest people in war. Every reload was a risk for life. The job of an artilleryman became respected and very difficult. At sea, gunpowder was even more dangerous. Huge ships carried many cannons. Powder was stored at the bottom of the ship. This place was called the magazine. It was always dark and wet. People entered there without shoes. One nail in a boot could kill everyone. The walls were covered with soft lead or cloth. Sailors lived on a powder barrel. Literally, gunpowder made the world more dangerous. It helped to discover new lands, but it also brought fire and death there. Black powder ruled the world for almost 600 years. It built cities and destroyed walls. But it had one big problem. During explosion, it made thick smoke. It was white, strong, and very dense. After the first shots, nothing could be seen. Everything was covered with smoke. Soldiers coughed and lost their commanders. They shot only at sounds and cries. It was like a fight in a dark room. Also, powder made a lot of dirt. Gun barrels became dirty inside. After 10 shots, a musket could stop working. Scientists of the 19th century wanted to fix this. Chemistry became very popular then. People studied molecules, not magic. In 1846, a man named Christian Schoenbein lived in Switzerland. He was a professor and loved experiments. One day he worked in his kitchen. He broke a bottle with a strong acid. The liquid spread over the table. He had only his wife's apron nearby. It was made of simple cotton. Schoenbein cleaned the liquid with it. Then he decided to dry it near the fire. He put it above the heat. In a minute, something amazing happened. The cotton did not burn slowly. It flashed bright and disappeared instantly. There was no ash, no smoke, nothing left. Schoenbein looked at the empty place. He understood he found a new power. Cotton became a strong invisible fuel. This substance was called gun cotton or peroxylin. The news spread across Europe. Generals wanted to replace old powder with it. But guncotton was very unstable. It did not like heat or shocks. Factories exploded one after another. In England, one explosion destroyed a whole town. People thought it was too dangerous. It was banned in many countries for years. But science never stops. Scientists continued to search for control. At the same time, Ascanio Sobrero worked in Italy. He studied a liquid called glycerin. He mixed it with acids and got an oil. This oil is known as nitroglycerin. Sobrero tasted one drop. He got a terrible headache, but the real danger was in its power. It exploded from the smallest shock. Sobrero was an honest and kind man. He was afraid of his discovery. He thought he created a monster. He stopped his experiments, but his notes reached the Nobel family. Alfred Nobel was a young engineer. He believed explosions could be useful. He wanted to build roads and canals. The Nobel family opened a factory. Soon, a terrible accident happened. A huge explosion killed many people. Alfred's younger brother died. Authorities banned his work on land. Then he moved his lab to a barge. It stood in the middle of a lake. He worked there every day, risking his life. He wanted to make the oil safe. One day he found a solution. He saw that the oil was absorbed by soil. Nobel mixed nitroglycerin with soft sand. It became like dough. This material was safe to handle. It exploded only with a special detonator. So dynamite was born. Alfred Nobel became very rich. His invention helped build tunnels and canals. But he was not happy. He saw it used in war. At the end of his life, he gave money for the Peace Prize. But dynamite was still too strong for guns. It destroyed barrels. A new material was needed. In 1884, Paul Vier found a solution. He made a paste from peroxylin and alcohol. Then he made thin sheets. After drying, they were cut into small pieces. This was the first smokeless powder. It was 3 times stronger than black powder. But the main thing was no smoke. Soldiers could shoot and stay hidden. War changed completely. Armies stopped wearing bright uniforms. Soldiers changed to gray and green colors. Rifles became more accurate. Machine guns appeared. Weapons worked longer without cleaning. War became more hidden and more dangerous. But gunpowder also helped peaceful work. It was used in early rockets. Old ideas helped people reach space. Today we see gunpowder every day. It is inside car airbags. Gunpowder. A small charge saves lives. In an accident, it fills the airbag instantly. It saves many people. Gunpowder helps build bridges and dams. And we still enjoy fireworks. This story teaches responsibility. Power is not good or bad. It depends on people. Humans moved from alchemy to space. We learned to control fire and gases. Gunpowder became part of progress. It helped develop science. Now this power helps build the future. Let it serve good purposes only. Thank you for watching to the end. See you next time.